In this video, I'm going to talk about globalization and localization settings within Microsoft Cloud. Now, if we classify Microsoft Cloud into three, like say Dynamics 365 Cloud, Microsoft 365 Cloud, and Azure Cloud, then there are various settings within these particular systems for you to set all the localization and globalization feature. Now, as you see in the screen over here, this is Dynamics 365 Customer Service Hub. Now, created on is one of the date field where you can see over here it is in DDMMYY format. Okay. Now, people can reside anywhere. Like if I am in Australia, this is the correct format for me. But if I go to India, then the format differs. If I go to US, the format differs, and same goes with Germany. So what I can do as a user, I can click on settings, and from here settings as a personalization setting perspective, I'll click on personalization settings, and I will be able to change the language. Okay, so if you see here, the first setting what I can do is I can select a default currency. So if I'm in Germany, I'll select euro or maybe mark, or maybe if I'm in Australia, I can select Australian dollar. Okay, now here, if you scroll here, you'll see set the default country or region code. Now I can set the country or region code prefix. So if I'm in Australia, I'll put +61, or if I'm in India, I'll put +91. Okay, so like this, I can put default country region code. I can select a default currency, and even I can change the time zone. So think about it. Like if I'm working from say Taipei, okay, so that's GMT +8. So I can put that as a time zone. I can click on OK, and then the time zone will be applicable for my particular setting. Okay, so this is one way of setting those localization and globalization factor. If I click on format over here, I can select the current format. So even if my time zone is Taipei, I can select English Australia as a current format, or maybe I can select uh, uh, say maybe Czech Republic or Danish Denmark. Okay, so I can select that, and accordingly the number, currency, time, short date, long date format gets applied. Now I can even further customize it. I can pick whatever decimal symbol or whatever digit grouping symbol which is required from a number or currency or time or date perspective. I can do that, and I can apply it as per my need. Okay, so Dynamics 365 is that we can customize that. It is that flexible. Okay, now this we have done from a personalization settings perspective, but then if you click on settings icon over here, you and as an administrator can do that from an advanced settings. They can set it at a tenant level. Now remember, this is a Dynamics 365 cloud, so this is only applicable to Dynamics 365 cloud. Okay, so admin can go to the settings, admin can go to systems administration, and then go to the system settings, and again you will find a similar looking interface whereby you can see the formats. You can set up the format. You can say that, hey, at a global level this is say Croatian. Okay, but at a personalization level it is English India. Okay, so like that you can set all those various settings. You can further customize it from a number, currency, time, short date, long date perspective. Now remember, from a personalization setting, we have set the time zone over there. Okay, now that time zone is different for different application. Okay, so now we have seen Dynamics 365. So this is all Dynamics 365. But the moment you go to Microsoft 365, if you go to your office.com or portal.office.com, click on your name and go to the account information, there is a setting called a settings and privacy. Now here it will show you the what region format which you are currently configured for. And here if you click on region format, you can change the regional format. Okay, so if you do not want this format, you can select whatever format you want. Okay, so now remember, this is Microsoft 365, this is not Dynamics 365. So you're making those changes over here. Now from a languages perspective, you can see display language, English UK, preferred languages, all the other different languages, translation, and then regional format. So I can change those regional format in Microsoft 365. And now you might have seen Dynamics, we have put the time zone as something else. Here, I can say I belong to Hobart time zone. Okay. So now you have two different cloud under your same login, but you have two different time zones. Okay. So I can change the time zone. If I click on change the time zone, I can pick whatever time zone I want. So maybe I can pick Havana, Haiti, Indiana, Turks and Caicos. So like those, I can pick up whatever time zone I want. Now remember, this is Microsoft 365 cloud. Now, this is office.com. Okay. Uh, again Microsoft 365 cloud. Now, if I go to Delve, which is like if you click on your name and if you go onto the profile, then here there is no settings to make a change to your time zone. Okay, so this is just a plain simple thing. But if you want to again change time zone from a Microsoft 365 cloud perspective, you can navigate to Outlook. And within Outlook, if you click on settings, then you can, under search, you can type for time. You will get two options: time zones and language and region. Let me pick up time zone. Now I can add a time zone and I can display my calendar in time zone. Now it is picking up Hobart. I can pick up Norfolk Island. Okay, and then I can save that. So all my emails will be respecting the time zone for Norfolk Island. So I'll be seeing those time related information based on this time zone. Okay, I can add multiple time zones. However, you will have one default time zone. Okay, so I can save this. So now we have two different time zones. So we have set a time zone in Microsoft 365. We have set a time zone in Dynamics 365, and I'll show you some other examples as well. Okay, so again, going back to Outlook, here you can, even if you search for time, here you will see language and region, so you can pick up whatever language you want. Okay, so here if you see from a language perspective, it is picking up language Australia. Use my Microsoft 365 settings, so it is fetching from that Microsoft 365 setting cloud. If you do not want, if you want to override that rule, you can do that. Okay, you can say Microsoft 365 might have English Australia, but I want English American Samoa for my Outlook. Yes, you can do that. You can select various formats. So again, this format is completely different than what you have set for your different cloud. Again, here you'll see the time zone. You can change the time zone from here. If you don't want Hobart time zone, if you're in a different city altogether, you can pick up whatever time zone you want. Okay, so this is in another setting. Then this is Dynamics 365. Let's go to Power Apps. So in Power Apps, if you click on this gear icon, then let me click on Power App settings. So if you click on Power App settings, here you can pick up a language. So now you can have Power Apps in French, you can have in Catalana, Euskara, Gallego, Magyar, Indonesia, Italiano. So all those things you can do. So from a Power Apps perspective, you can change a language, but not a time zone. Okay, because now remember, this Power Apps is like part of that Dynamics 365 cloud. So whatever time zone you set from a Dynamics 365 perspective will be applicable, but all the transactions happen through UTC time zone. Okay, now that's for Power Apps. If you go to Power Automate, again, if you click on the clock icon over here, you click on View All Power Automate Settings. Here you can choose the display language. Okay, so from a Power Automate perspective, you can choose the display language as Indonesia, let's assume, and then regional format automatically gets selected to Indonesia. If you select this to Netherlands, then the regional format you can select Netherlands or Belgium. Or if you select say maybe English, then you get various options like US, Australia, Canada, India, Ireland, multiple things. Okay, so again, this is from a Power Automate perspective. Okay, here you can't set the time zone, but here you can change the display language or the regional format. uh, this is Power Pages. Okay, I'm not going to go into the Power Pages part. So this is the Power Pages website which I have run. Now let's go into SharePoint. Okay, so in SharePoint, if you open any SharePoint site, okay, so let me show you. This is how the SharePoint site looks like. Now within SharePoint, if you go to site settings, okay, so under so again on the top right corner, you will be able to see a clock icon or a settings icon. You click on that, click on site information, and once you click on site information, you can go to view all site settings. Once you are in that site settings, here you can configure the language. He'll configure the language settings and the regional settings. So if I click on language settings over here, so here you can see the default language for the site is English. Enable translation into multiple languages. I can turn that translation on, and then I can select whatever language I want for that website to be translated. So this is one option from a site language and a translation perspective. Let me go back. Going into the site information page, here I have a regional setting. So now here Remember, we made the global time change in Dynamics 365 in Microsoft 365. Now here, this is the third one. Okay, so you can have a Microsoft cloud with the same account in three different time zones for three different technological component. Okay, so in time zone, I can select uh, Kabul. Okay, so my SharePoint time zone is Kabul, my Dynamics 365 in Indonesia, and then my Power Platform is in running in different, and my Outlook is in different time zones. So that's quite possible. Here you can set the locale. Here you can set the sort order calendar, and then formatting. Whether you want 12 or 24-hour format. So again, this is all specific to the cloud technology. So this is specifically applicable for SharePoint only. Now, if you go to portal.azure.com, here you can view various information, and then Azure also provides you information like if you want to view from a local perspective or a UTC perspective, that you can see from here. So I'm in audit logs. So within audit logs, I can view the date and time accordingly. And in Azure, if you go to settings, in settings you will have a language and region. Okay, so in language and region, from an Azure perspective, you can again select the language. So here I can put Polski. Okay, and regional format is Polska. Okay, so I can select. So now I have different clouds in different language, different regional format, and different time zones. I can configure all that. So it is very essential to remember all this thing, because you may think that you may have changed the time zone in one particular cloud, and why it is not propagating into different clouds. So it's time to wonder that all this technology has different way of representing information, but mostly from a Dynamics 365 and Power Platform perspective, usually most of the clouds are set at a UTC time zone, and then you need to manually convert that based on all your preference. And that's why you saw that in the personalization settings, you have a time zone component to configure. Okay, so that's it, folks. This is all about setting up the language, setting up the formatting, currency, date, time zone for all the different cloud in Microsoft's ecosystem. Thanks for watching.